Good evening. If you'll allow me, I do need to call Alderman Frazier. He is going to be participating by phone. Hello, Frazier. Can you hear me?
Yes,
All right. We are about to begin the meeting. Well, it is a pleasure to call this meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen to order. I would like to ask everyone to please stand and join with me and to be followed by our pledge. Let us pray. Father, we thank you as we come together at this time of the year, the beginning of the year, almost now 2/3 of the way through January. Father, we just thank you for your blessings. And we do lift our community up to you and those who are hurting, those who have suffered loss. We've had already some hardships, even in this very new year, and we just lift those up to you. But we also thank you for the blessings, understanding that truly every day is a gift. Now be with us as we moderate the affairs of our city. Be with us, guide our discussion, and let all we do be in accordance with your will. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let us now join together in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. We'll ask the clerk to administer the roll call.
Alderwoman Hall.
Here.
Alderman Frazier. Can you hear me?
It's here.
Okay. Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderwoman Irving.
Here.
Alderman Davis.
Here.
Alderman Maroney.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, all are present and accounted for.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Thank you. We actually have a visitor that was to be added to the agenda, and I see that person's not on the agenda. But we will ask him to come up in a moment. His name is Jimmy Moore. He's with Arrow Disposal, ADSI. Mr. Moore, if you'll allow us, though, we do have some very important individuals we need to go ahead and honor at this time, because we have with us two individuals who have really served the city for a long period of time. And I'm actually, if you'll notice, I'm moving around on our order a little bit. We'll come back to our minutes and all, but we want to right now, first and foremost, honor these individuals. Mr. Charles Golden, who has, we call him Chuck. And Chuck, you have served our fire department, the city of Natchez, for a very long time. For 40 years, we have a special presentation to make to you. And we also have a gentleman by the name of Joseph Green, who has served at our golf course for a lengthy period of time. And so we're going to, first of all, Mr. Golden, Chief Golden, now we're going to ask you to come up and have a presentation. I said, Chief, Captain, I meant Captain. For some reason, I had him down as a battalion chief. Man, these are so many years. I'm going to come around, and I'm actually going to take this out of the case. And I'm going to ask any of the aldermen who would like to join me, and we're going to make some presentation to you. And Chief Arrington, definitely you need to join us. Grateful for your service many years.
I don't know, short order, my part to talk. I've enjoyed my employment in the city. I love the city matches, I love firefighters, and it's 2 wins. So, same thing to the firefighters, just make it home. Thank you so much. That's it.
How many years is this?
4
Oh.
40 years to the date.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna ask everyone to remain here. We have another, Chuck, you got, we got this one. This is a handy carrying case in case you want to travel with it. We also have one here for Mr. Joseph Green. 30 years, my goodness, that's 30 cold winters, 30 hot summers. He's been overseeing so much at our golf course, and we just appreciate him. He started working for the city when he was about 12 years old. And we are just so grateful. So we have this for you. Joseph Green, we thank you for your service. Mr. Green, you kept the golf course green. That's right. A lot of tough conditions, but we certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I thank the city Napa Club for allowing me the opportunity to work. Leadership, recreation department. I thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yes, 3, because he's gonna miss you.
Oh, yeah, he's already told me he is not,
I want to thank the whole Henry for coming out and his wife and Jeff, one of the best officers out there on the golf course, and his wife. And my wife for coming out with me.
And his wife, his wife.
Yeah.
and he's all yours now. He's all yours now. There are no excuses.
He's not retired from the bank.
Congratulations.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks again. We're going to now get back to our meeting, and I'm going to ask all of us a motion. We were supposed to add this, and didn't get added, but we do have Mr. Moore here. So move.
Second.
Allow me to speak. Alderman Davis, Mr. Green, we also have a careful case for you.
Can bring it with him and go hunting, Joey.
It's a hermetically sealed container. All right, the motion has been made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion, we'll call for the question. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carried. Mr. Moore, we really appreciate you. I wanted to tell you, I had to stop yesterday and just thank your crew members for all their hard work. Y'all been dealing with some tough conditions.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight and just say a few words. All the people that know me says, or say, you can't be great. Well, first of all, I'm jealous of these two gentlemen to be great. I offer my congratulations to you, 40 and 30 years. I tell everybody I've been playing golf for 30 years. I started 30 years ago. It doesn't seem like it. I'm just here tonight to thank you for the relationship we've had the last several years. After I got here, I saw on the agenda that tonight you will be entertaining the beginning steps of the RFP for the new contract, which I hope is the old company with the new contract, which would be ADSI. As you said, we've been challenged. Darryl would have been here tonight. I'll let you know Darryl Stewart, his wife is sick to the degree, nothing threatening, but he's concerned. He's doing what he can to take care of her. And I told him that, that's a great philosophy to take care of his family. And I said, don't worry about that. I'll be there. Everybody on the board knows that you're with the road, police, the road, Dale takes care of y'all. We appreciate it. We've had a lot of contracts I deal with throughout the state of Mississippi, and that's from Tennessee line, to Louisiana line, and all the way down and Louisiana. The relationship and the contractual relationship we've had has been the least cumbersome again. It's been a great ride, and again, we want to be here again for the next term. We have to go through the proposal process. That's the nature of this business, and that will be upcoming soon because the existing contract expires at the end of May. So if you have any issues that I needed to share, with anyone, I'd be happy to do so. I stood before one board in the state of Mississippi in the Delta, I think it was last year, and I said, you know, is there anything I can do to help you? Please let me know. The mayor, at that time, stood up and said, hey, why don't we tell you, we'll tell the person, he's the one that takes the job. You have his person in there, so, but you can call me anytime, I'll do what I can. But again, I appreciate it. Thank you thus far, and I hope I'm thanking you again this time, 6 to 10 years down the road. Have questions or comments?
Do we have any questions or Alderwoman or?
Okay, I just want to give some comments. I don't have any questions. I understand the process, but I do. Excuse me. I want to say thank you for the service that has been rendered to the city of Natchez. It's been great. We have a Ward 4. It's been very optimistic seeing how if there is a situation taking place there, that it's resolved almost immediately. And within the last 3 weeks, Mr. Darrell has done a great job of going back and getting those items up. And so I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
Thank you also for the service you all have provided. And if there's been any concerns that you all have been with us, Mr. Stewart, that's right there. Thank you.
Well,
don't see any harm. I mean, any harm in what Alderman Davis is recommending.
Oh, all right, okay. No problem. If you don't see any harm, then I'm on board with that, because that should be everybody.
And then Philip intended, you know, with all board members, it'd be a board meeting versus, you know, I believe we're less than four.
This committee is to, review the proposals, but understanding that we may only get 2 or 3. I think there's no harm in having a committee of the whole. I would agree. And so I was already going to say that, Alderman Frazier should most definitely be on that committee, being that he is the chair of the, Utilities Committee, and this falls under that committee. And so, Alderman Frazier, if you're, hearing me, I think you're still on, I'm checking. Yeah, Alderman Frazier, I'd like to entertain the motion from you, to request, for the RFP process to begin, understanding this will be a committee of the whole that will review.
So this is the whole board,
Yes,
all the aldermen is included.
that's right, along with Mr. Lazarus, our attorney, Ms. McKenzie, our city clerk, Mr. Dollar, and Mr. Johnston.
That's why I motion that this include all the aldermen involved in this committee, whether they can participate in this, RFP.
Okay, so the motion actually is following what staff has provided along with a committee of the whole. And the motion has been made by Alderman Frazier, and it has been seconded by Alderwoman Hurd. And so, we now will have discussion. We'll call for the question. Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. I want to thank you. A lot of work's gone on behind the scenes to get this done, and thank you to all, especially Mr. Johnston, Ms. McKenzie, Mr. Dollar, and also our city attorney. Man, you had a lot thrown at your backs, haven't you? It's true. Next item, Mr. Johnston.
Breakdown shopping complex phase 2 environmental assessment and assessment survey with the city's 2021 Brownfield Coalition Assessment Grant funded by the EPA. Staff and concert with environmental professionals, EPA consultants, is requesting a phase 2 environmental assessment, including extensive survey of the commercial property, notating that the originally completed phase 1 ESA property identifies past use of one of the areas as a dry cleaning facility. Dry cleaners traditionally utilize solvents like spouter, solvent, and PCEs as part of their operation prior to regulation by DEQ with EPA. Property owner and a prospective developer have expressed interest in either renovating the existing buildings or demolition. DEQ requires an asbestos inspection of the facility before either of these activities. The owner and developer are also interested in estimated costs of abatement, demolition, and cleanup, if any, of soil or groundwater contamination from the former dry cleaning operations, so the costs can be factored into any redevelopment budget for lenders if needed. The entire cost is covered by the zero match EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant at no cost to the city for these services. EPA and DEQ have approved these planned activities. The cost for the phase 2 will not exceed $36,000 without prior approval. Motion requested. So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
Yes,
Yes, Alderwoman Hurd.
thank you. So I understand the process, what they're doing is cleaning the building and all. And I guess what comes to my mind, so
They're not cleaning it per se. We're doing, determining cost and we're doing steps, but we're not actually going to be doing digging on that.
okay. So my mind just went another way direction, and you said the owner and the developers are also interested in. Okay, all right.
All right. Any
So not to exceed $36,000.
Yes, ma'am.
further discussion?
Call question.
The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Mr. Johnson.
2024 Land Conservation Fund, Department of Wildlife, Fisheries and Parks. NWWF recently announced the 2024 grant cycle for eligible public bodies, including cities and counties. A summary of the program guidelines are as follows. Applications are due no later than 4:00 p.m. on May 9th. The maximum grant amount is $2,000. Program requires a 50-50 match on a reimbursement basis. All sites receiving federal funds assistance are required to be open and operated during normal operating hours and maintained in perpetuity. All projects will be in compliance with architectural barriers and uniform federally acceptable standards and the Department of the Interior Section 504 standards as well. City of Natchez has received these monies on 4 occasions in the past: 1973, 1979, 2015, and 2019. You see the uses of the funds. Applicant letters of award are not expected to go out until early next year, so no funds are expected to be extended needed in FY 24 for the physical improvements, but the city must provide notification stating that the matching funds are available regardless of source. Council probably discussed with staff that that's aware of, including Duncan Park Out Pro Shop Phase 2, Ballfield improvements, additions to the Natchez County Aquatic Center. To proceed, staff would like to hold a public hearing at the next board meeting, both seeking public comment and a decision from the mayor and board on how to proceed. Should the mayor and board desire to proceed with submitting an application, the following is required: a resolution authorizing and approving the following an application and allowing the mayor to sign the necessary documents providing proof that matching funds are available. So really no action items today being requested, but I would like a decision at the next board meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderwoman Hall.
a question. So we're applying for phase 2.
No, there's no, I'm not asking for an action item today. That is an option for the board if they want to do that. There has been discussion, that I decided on at the meeting saying, we're doing phase 1 now. Let's maybe look at phase 2, because a couple of years ago, we had tried to do this with the same program, but they never had a cycle. And now they have announced the cycle. So later in my report, you're seeing the phase 1 is being awarded or part of phase 1. And it'd be a good time, for next year to do phase 2. That's what the board chooses to do.
Okay.
Are you wanting to hold a public hearing?
It is not today, no, sir. But I do want to at the next board meeting, and I would like a decision of the board as well of what they would like to apply for.
But do we need to advertise something?
Um,
We need a motion.
If you want to, that's fine, but I was going to post it and put it on our website, and I may put it in the newspaper. But I'll have a proof of publication and evidence where it goes.
But I think we do need a motion. Yes, I'm sorry, Alderwoman Hall.
You also have a section bullet here for ball field improvements. Now, that's the county ball field.
Oh, I was just mentioned in passing one time, and I was just, being, I guess transparent. It was mentioned as a possible, application. So, that's it. But again, the decision of what to do is the board's decision. I just threw that out there.
All right. I do need to entertain a motion to proceed, and I guess the motion would be to hold a public hearing. We generally have those public hearings at our second board meeting, so that they
I
can
would
have.
prefer the first meeting.
Well, we don't do public hearings generally at the first meeting, because that's at 11 a.m. and everyone's, we have people working.
And I think we said that before.
You have, but I'm
Make
looking
an
at
adjustment with the time.
work.
Sir,
We're looking at effective actually starting the application. I'll go as far as I can, but I'm looking, at my schedule, as opposed to public hearing first day of the formality.
so this is January, the date for the application is no later than May 9th, and I know you want to be working on it.
Yes,
So is there a possibility we can call a special call meeting to do the public hearing?
I think we have ample time, but I would like to say that I already believe a consensus of the board believes that the phase 2 of Duncan Park Clubhouse is the most natural, it's the most natural purpose.
Because we're using these LC.
Yes, ma'am. These are federal funds, and one thing that they do try and encourage is public participation and the best way for the public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah,
At this time, I'll entertain the motion to have a public hearing at our second meeting of February at 6 p.m. Motion has been made by Alderwoman Irving, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion? We will call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Renovation of Duncan Park Golf Pro Shop Phase 1 receiving a bids, and that's being funded by 2 bond issues from the city of Natchez. Bids for the renovation of the golf pro shop were received today at 1:30 p.m., which was pushed back from last Tuesday due to inclement weather. A summary of the bid is listed below. We did have 4 bidders, and we did have a base bid and 4 ad alternates, received with those bids today. And you see a breakdown of the ad alternates. Staff in council of consulting architect, Belinda Stewart Architect, is requesting a motion to accept the base bid and add alternate number 2 from Hope Enterprises, that's the $734,500 plus the $188, for a contract award totaling $952,750. Noting that local golf pro Greg Brookings also recommends accepting add alternate 2 versus add alternate 1. Noting that add alternate 2 is for the new lounge, including walls, interior finishes, mechanical, and electrical.
So moved. Motion made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion? I'm excited. We finally now have a winning bid, actually under budget, allowing us to proceed with phase 1 restoration of the Duncan Park Golf Clubhouse. We've been working for now over 3 years on this, so it's great to see it come. Thank you for everyone who's worked so hard, and thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Did you want to add something about alternate 3 and 4?
We can take that up at another meeting. It appears that we are going to have enough from our private fundraising to take care of one of the ad alternates, very likely replacing the existing wood exterior cornice with fiberglass cornice. So that's another little dose of good news, but we won't take that matter up right now. But I will tell you that our private fundraising campaign is still going on. We have a donor willing to match contributions all the way up to $50,000. Now, with that said, I'd like to call the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I want to just say, we did put this on the agenda hoping to get it done. We do have an RFP now completed for the design, renovation, and operation of the north end of the old Yazoo Mississippi Valley Railroad Depot. However, our attorney just got it a couple hours ago. We're going to bring this up at a later meeting to allow him time to review it, and also time for us to get copies to all of you so that you can review it. 2 weeks won't hurt in the process. But our goal is to have this process underway where we can have someone by April selected to begin work on the north end of the depot. And an update on the south end, construction is going very well. Wilmar Construction is at work, walls are up. The project is on schedule, and we are looking forward to the completion of the south end by spring, making it a downtown visitor center. So good news there. And so just stay tuned. You'll be getting copies of that RFP very soon. And we will take that up in our next meeting. All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Dollar, I'm sorry, yes.
Johnson, a question I didn't read.
Yes.
Is it possible that I could deserve? Okay, what I wanted to ask was, I see that, Jordan Kaiser and Session had been out over in the Concord area, and I'm assuming they were out surveying, so I just wanted to ask, is it possible where that representative can come and give the board an update as to what's going on?
Probably finalizing plans.
Okay.
Taking measurements
so that we can come to the board and request this advertising.
Okay,
That's probably what they were doing. They're not gonna get you an updated email today, giving it an update. I have to look at it. I'll look at it tomorrow and I can email you an update.
okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Also, Mr. Johnson, I also want to say this, I want to thank you. It's several years ago, you and I walked the track over on the Concord area. And we looked from there down to Summer Street, looking at the tracks and what keep being removed. I want to thank you for, you and Mr. Dollar, I know he's not here, for having you and him for getting that cut down, the hill cut down as best you can, down to the water line, and for removing the track. So thank you. That was such a vision that the community had. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Dollar. Didn't see that.
And speaking of Mr. Dollar, you're next up.
Good evening, Mayor Board.
Good evening.
First item I'd like to bring before the board, on January 4th, we received bids for the purchase of a new excavator. We received a bid from two different vendors, one from Shriveling Equipment and one from Public Rents. The one from Shriveling was for the amount of $103,032.88. Now, that machine had two buyback options, a 36-month and a 48-month buyback option. The 36-month buyback option was $66,000. The 48-month buyback was $56,000. Bucket Rents submitted a price for their comparable machine of $98,974.36. They also submitted a 36-month buyback and a 48-month buyback. Their 36-month was $63,000 and the 48-month was $53,000. With that being said, once you figure out the buyback differences between the two, Bucket Rents was lower by $1,058.52. Therefore, I recommend the purchase of the CAT 306 from Bucket Rents.
So moved. Motion made by Alderwoman Irving, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Dollar, next item.
Next item I have is the notice of grant and agreement award. This is from NRCS. This is for 3 locations. This is for New Beginning Missionary Church, Vine Street, and Old Washington Road. What I'm seeking today is permission to allow the mayor to execute these documents for us to begin moving forward with these 3 projects. EWPs, I should say.
So moved.
And we have some exciting news to share. Alderwoman Irving has made the motion. Alderman Maroney has seconded. I wanted to say, it's come to our attention, Mr. Dollar shared the good news with me. We've been working on this, for almost a year. And there's been a tremendous issue, great concern right there behind the BNH Church. Actually, last February, Congressman Thompson was here. We actually visited together, and he and his office have been helping us on this. And Mr. Kurt Reedus has been great, always at NRCS, our state director. Well, since 2005, we've only had one grant that was 100% no match grant. And that was in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. And it's my understanding that now this is a no match grant. And that is tremendous news for us. However, the city, 7.5% of the project is covered for engineering. We will likely have about 3% that we'll have to have for engineering services.
It will be anywhere from 12 to 16%.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yes, what was done was NRCS for construction costs, they did do cover 100% in the amount of $609,875. And then the other construction costs, they do 7.5% for technical assistance, which would be engineering, which is for a total of $45,740.63. So their total contribution to this project is $655,615.63.
Now, once we sign the agreement, we get the engineer working, and we get bids. If it comes over that, we'll have to go to NRCS and say we need more money. But as of right now, that's what we're dealing with. That's very good news.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, Alderman Fraser, yes.
All that project, we're dealing with, understand that. But also, we're doing on the side of the church, but from my other concerns on the other side, whereby we have a nice look, it also is capable of it. It seems as though we don't have to go back to the yard, get some more money in order to do that project too.
That would, and that would require another application, and what we've got to do, NRCS guidelines require that it be a rain event that, is very severe over a very short period of time. We haven't, as of yet, been able to document that on the east side of the bayou, but we need to be watching it. And then the event that happens, certainly we can then make that application.
And also, Mr. Mayor,
Wait 1 second, Alderman Fraser, did you have any further discussion?
So I don't know how you like that.
Okay, Alderwoman Hall?
and also, we're still watching too, also.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
the
correct.
Project's coming in, and we're waiting on that project.
Well,
We have a number of
right,
projects.
so yes, we have a number of projects. What I will say, that particular site, is that particular site has never been approved. So that's something that will be submitted under, whenever our rain event
Right.
occurs. That time will be submitted. But yes, at this point, it has not been approved.
But this is very good news, and I want to thank the congregation of New Beginnings for their patience. They've been waiting for a year for this good news. And I really want to thank Pastor Robert Lewis, who has worked with us and his deacons. So with that said, I'll entertain a motion.
So
Wait,
we've already.
I'll call for the question. It's something about tonight. We have so much and we're all excited because there's a lot of good news tonight. I now will proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, this is all such good news. And
Thank you.
we're just so grateful for that good news for Natchez. In fact, I have a little more good news to share in a few minutes. And in fact, this is some good news coming up right now. Tawana Williams, Director of Workforce Development.
Yes.
Your grant is getting into high gear, and
Mhm.
I know you're ready now to implement portion of that.
So the first employer roundtable discussion is fast approaching. It's gonna be on next week. And I believe all of you have received an invitation, and I've asked to appreciate you send that out again to you guys to make sure that you did. So my purpose of being here tonight is to ask permission to contract with Diane Lusher. She is a corporate coach, and I've been talking with her over the past 2 years regarding workforce development, and I had her in mind when we wrote the DRA grant to have those sessions facilitated. And so she would probably facilitate 6 to 8 sessions over the course of 36 months, period of performance for the grant. And those sessions are going to be at $2,100 for 14 hours. And I just wanted to share with you what they consist of. It consists of research and preparation time, marketing discussions, facilitation, and follow-up on recommendations provided by the attendees, which will be surveys at the end of each roundtable and workforce-related sessions. And so Diane, though, she has an extensive amount of experience, and I believe you guys have about.
Yes, Alderwoman Smith.
Is the expenses covered by the grant?
Yes, ma'am, we have budgeted $15,000 in the grant, and we may not expend it all for work, for roundtable discussions, but it is in the grant, and that's how she.
So,
Alderwoman Hall has made the motion, seconded by Alderman Davis. I want to also just say this, you know, it's always a sign of a good leader when they find good people. Ms. Lusher has a great resume, and also if you were to speak to anyone who has worked with her, for instance, in the DNA organization, they all have glowing comments for her work performance, and so we look forward to seeing her become a valuable asset to the team. Thank you. And also, Alderwoman, make sure to mark your calendars or next Friday, this employer roundtable will be a very, I'm sorry, next Thursday. This will be a very important discussion with our area employers on their needs and how our workforce development program needs to be tailor suited for them. And it'll be at 1:30, and the location again is at the convention center. I'll call for the question. Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Williams. We appreciate you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah, Alderman.
was that for the general public to attend? So no, so it's specifically for healthcare, for the healthcare and advanced manufacturing industries. And so there are specific employers that we ask to attend. And so the general public isn't invited, there's specific employees.
And I want to say that this does not constitute a special call meeting because the aldermen are being invited to listen. However, the aldermen, we are not going to be there to discuss or to get involved in a discussion of workforce development that then would become an infraction of open meeting. So I just need to make sure we'll also have that caveat. Obviously, anyone of the aldermen, supervisors, school board members who wish to state their opinion may do so, but we won't have any back and forth discussion that would constitute a violation again of our laws. Is that understood? Is that acceptable and fair? All right, great. So, it's informational. Thank you. I'm glad you brought up that question. Chief Arrington, you were recognized. More good news.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So as you all know, we have been trying to purchase a new truck for the fire department. The actual pumper is here in Mississippi now. It was at the station a couple of days ago. We got a chance to touch it, take some pictures, and kind of pick out some things. We have been working with the county on a grant to help us purchase the truck. It seems very promising. I've spoken with them. I was hoping to have it today. We just missed out on it. Yeah, we have to go. We got pictures. It will look very different by the time you all see it again, but that is the actual truck. This is a Rosenbauer truck. It is a stock truck. It was built in South Dakota and brought here just for us. So we've been working with the county. Everything is working. My last contact with them, they were sending it over to get all of these signatures and whatever is needed. So I will be coming back to you very soon for a resolution for the city to accept that grant request.
It's awesome, Chief.
It's wonderful. I've got to say, Chief Arrington, you haven't stopped working on this. And also Alderman Davis as chair of the fire committee. You've really been working behind the scenes to make this happen. And I also want to say, people question why I go to all of these meetings. Sometimes I do too. They wear me out. But last fall I was at the Maxi conference. I go to that conference every year. It's an insurance conference. I used to head up that organization. Mike Cheney goes to that conference every year. I pulled him aside and I said, Mr. Cheney, you've got to help us with some grant funds for a pumper truck. He said, I think we can get you at least $90,000. And the next week I spoke to Brian Smith in his office. You and I spoke, Chief, and now here we are. And that $90,000, of course, is a nice, sizable down payment. But the rest of this expense is actually a low interest cap line. And I know the board's already approved this earlier, provision. But what good news that the city of Natchez is in financial condition well enough to make this purchase, this investment.
Yes, thank you very much to our city clerk. She's been keeping us informed, taking good care of us, making sure we have everything lined out in this way. I know I probably getting on the nerves a little bit, but she's been very.
Now, no motion is needed, but the next motion, very likely our next meeting will be a resolution.
Yes, the next.
The county has to pass it.
Yes, the county has to pass it. I have to bring the resolution to you guys to accept. They already have their paperwork. I tried to get a head start on it and have it for tonight, but it didn't work out.
The grant actually goes through the county and comes to the city. All right. Any questions? Any,
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. And I gotta say, Chief Arrington, he makes it look so easy, as do big men and women, but they have been fighting a lot of fires. And we want to make sure the public understands we need your help. It's just a matter of common sense. This time of year, be very, very careful with space heaters. Be careful with overloading circuits. Be careful when you're taking care of your pets. Don't put those heaters. You want to riddle off the rest of the do nots?
I did want to add one quick thing. Over the past 2 weeks, we've had 2 fires that started from space heaters. People trying to keep their animals warm, and different things like that. We highly suggest that if you're going to use a space heater, you keep ample space around it, 3 feet in all directions. Do not overload your plugs. If you're going to use a space heater, especially an electrical one, plug it directly into a wall and not into an extension cord. Common sense practices like that. We were able to meet a young man that is in the 1st grade that identified the fire at his house, notified his parents, and helped them to contain the fire until we got there. So we were able to go to his school and give him a little happy. He is the grandson of Miss Newman over in City Hall, and so he's a really awesome kid, and we got to go spend some time with him at his school. So congratulations, young man, if you get to hear this, great job.
Fire alarms for citizens.
Yes, ma'am. We still have smoke detectors available for citizens. Anyone that needs a smoke detector inside the city limits can call a central station. County residents are to call civil defense, and they will come in and install them. We will call us. We'll come out. We'll see what you need, how many you need. We'll install them for you. Take away any old ones that you don't work anymore.
Okay.
These are 10-year smoke detectors with the internal battery. No maintenance or anything, no battery changing for 10 years. We just ask that you always test your smoke detectors at least twice a year. We suggest at time change.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. We now will go to city official reports. We'll start with Alderwoman Hall.
Thank you, Mayor. A few weeks ago, we did attend our midwinter Mississippi Municipal League Conference. A very good conference. And some of the priorities for the legislature are healthcare, education, and definitely one of the main topics this year is PERS and their request for an increase in contributions from employers to the employees. And we also met with some of our available legislators, and that was also very important. I'm sure the mayor will expound more on that, but that's my report, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Hall. I want to say, Alderwoman Hall, I've got a happy report because you sell yourself short. I don't think I've been to an event lately. You haven't been there. And I really enjoyed being with you at Susie B. West at 8 o'clock on a Monday morning yesterday, talking civics with 4th graders in Mr. McCullough's class. And one of the very important questions was, do you know who the fire chief of Natchez is? And it turned out there was a young man there who knew. His name, happens to be Jared Harrison. And I looked at him and he actually looks a lot like Frazier, do you have a report?
Yes, Mayor, I also attended this conference in Jackson. It was very informative conference. I really enjoyed. Like I say, every year we meet with the legislators. And plus the new speaker of the house, he laid out plans of what he have, what's coming up here for the state of Mississippi and everything else. So like I say, it was very informative and just meeting and greeting everybody from all different parts of the state. Now, also, let me bring this forward. Lately, within my ward, because it's the Walmart department store, I have received a lot of complaints from people about the people that's lottery or it's big and everything. It gets so bad that it's not in. And people are coming to Walmart to get scared of them because they're scared of the homeless people. I also witnessed that a couple of the homeless people walking around with mercy, or one guy was picking up cigarettes off the ground in the smoking. So we got a big problem. Also, they're on city property in the woods over in Walmart. It's like I was saying about homelessness and everything, and just it's a dilemma all over the country. But we got to get a hold on this issue right now because like this, it's gonna get worse and worse. All over the place. So that's my report, Mr. Mayor. We don't have to do that.
Thank you. Alderman Frazier, I'm glad you brought that up. We've actually had multiple meetings on that situation. We have posted the woods. Every time we do, the signs get torn down. I think we will revisit that, and I'm very glad you brought that up. Thank you. Alderwoman Smith, your report? No report. All right. Alderwoman Irving.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I want to begin with my heartfelt sympathy that goes out to one of the family members, one of the employees with our Public Works Department, Mr. Terry Tucker. He passed away recently, and so I want to offer my condolences to the family, heartfelt condolences to the family of Mr. Tucker, and also to our family at the Public Works Department. It's been pretty detrimental day to day dealing with that. So I'm just asking my colleagues here, members of the city of Natchez, keep Mr. Terry Tucker family in prayer along with our employees. They're really dealing with it at this time. I have a few questions that I don't see the personnel here to get an update, but you possibly could assist Mr. Mayor, an update on the bids that were taken to Jackson Park, about the fence line in the back of the park and the tree.
We don't, we'll look into that. Let me make a note.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Also, Mr. Mayor, I have received several calls about the asphalt that's over on Kelly's Avenue in that area over there. People wanted to know whether or not they can go in and get some of the materials that were there. I think that was all for the city public, so they want to put a sign here.
Okay. Okay. It is in a fenced area, and that's
It's closed in, I'm not sure it's
supposed
closed.
to be. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, and I guess the weather has taken care of the adjudication process with the adjudicated properties.
Reduced.
Okay.
So, but there are other issues that we've been looking into and continue Can you report those to me, address?
We got an update on Civic Swingers, that's one on the Capitol Street, that's state-owned property. And we were looking for,
We need to talk about those.
that is my report, sir.
All right, thank you so much. Alderman Davis?
Yesterday I was walking through, the chambers. I ran up on the mayor's youth leadership. And, I ended up, talking with all of the youth leadership yesterday. Now, they told me, city government board, I was explaining to them about city government, with, money comes from revenue, to come to pay the bills, you know, that's what we want to, what did they want to talk about? They told, what they want, it was, youth leadership told me yesterday. They said they want a movie theater and skating. That was the thing, so that's all they said. They don't need to know nothing about the city government. They want a skating rink and a movie theater. I told them we're working on it. I said, we try to work. Yeah. We working.
Wish it was as easy as just wishing.
I'm working on both, or which one's it?
Working on everything we can.
I said, that's all.
Glad you brought up, they mentioned that to me too.
Okay.
But that's a great group of young people, they do a lot in our community, and we're really grateful to Neva Hardy, now Dr. Neva Hardy,
Yeah.
for doing such a great job with the community.
And that's the national ACCS entity.
Thank you so much. Alderman Maroney.
Not a lot, although I did have a discussion last week, I think it was last week, with Alan Bumping at the Building Council Sessions, who is, acting as our, I guess he's supervising, and overseeing some of our overlay, our street over. And so that's, it's progressing, although weather recently has really had that project started, so we're not seeing a whole lot of activity on that right now. Some of the weather get out of here in a couple of weeks, which is forecast. We've got a lot of rain coming in the next week and a half. We can see more of it. I'm hoping, however, it will clear out of here in time for Mardi Gras parade on February 9th. It will be Friday, February 9th, at 6:30 in the evening. So hopefully everyone will come out and enjoy Mardi Gras parade. Hopefully the weather will clear up in time for that.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, Alderwoman Urban.
Mr. Mayor, I want to also mention the Dr. Martin Luther King Parade has been rescheduled. That parade is going to be Sunday, January the 28th at 3 p.m. Lineup will be 2 p.m. on the bluff. And so we're asking all members of the community, please come out and attend the parade. Again, that Sunday, January 28th at 3 p.m. It has been rescheduled.
We heard this and we met with the police chief, fire chief, public works superintendent. No one has informed them of these plans.
Okay, well, not.
And Sunday afternoon with public works, it's hard to get them out on a Sunday afternoon as hard as they work. We need someone who's in charge of the parade to coordinate with, we have a special events committee, our police chief, our fire chief, and our public works superintendent. And they informed me this afternoon that we had heard this, but they had not been notified.
Well, I will pass the word on to
And
you, but are we saying
Chief
that?
Green, are you a grand marshal of the parade?
I'm one of the co-grand marshals, was supposed to be myself and,
Ms. Leola.
yeah.
But have they informed you that?
No, excuse me. I contacted Ms. Marslaw yesterday after I heard the parade was supposed to be on Sunday. And she said, well, I thought I tagged you and posted. I said, I'm sorry, I don't do business via Facebook. So that's not how you tell me.
And I do
the parade has
understand.
been changed.
I do understand. I do understand.
You know, and besides that, I've already made plans for Sunday, you know, plans that were in place before the parade was canceled, and, you know, you reschedule, but you don't check to see if that's a day that I'm available, then, I mean, I don't know what to do with that.
Well, I'm glad that this is being televised
Yes.
so that the public will hear this information is being shared. I would also reach out to those parties and ask them to give you a call, schedule a meeting so that you all can work toward rescheduling a date that would be suitable for everyone.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
I'm
appreciate that.
glad you brought that up.
Well, what prompted me was when he said the Mardi Gras parade, and I'm like, okay.
Well,
I was just in a meeting on last night in reference to that. And so I'm thinking protocol had already been established.
Yes.
We knew that it was scheduled for last Monday, I have a letter for him to that. So now we're looking at a rescheduled date. So from this time forward, I will, inform those people to please reach out so that we can get a good scheduled date.
Okay.
Because it is being advertised on the radio as well to the public. I mean, so, again, I will.
Public Works, oh, man.
Well, what's going on here, and I do want to say this, so, what do Public Works do? I know they come out,
They put out
but
there,
they're already
they
there.
take the barricades up,
They taking them up because they were there.
oh, but they still have to put them in place. They
Right.
didn't have to take them up, then they have to clean.
Okay. No problem.
Full afternoon.
They will understand. I just wanted to be clear to them.
Oh, man, I'm glad you brought it up. I actually was putting it on my calendar and they said, wait, that hasn't been confirmed. Because I look forward to this. Alderman Smith,
That prompted me there, it's, about the danger of dealing with, commerce, where the lights are out.
yes,
I'm so sorry I neglected that for Justin left. Is there anything, what's wrong with that and when will they be fixed?
they are waiting on, I believe, some parts and,
Can we put
he is
the
not
stop
here.
signs in the middle of the road? That would be very helpful. I think I know, at National Guard, they've seen almost literally like 10, 12 wrecks.
Okay,
And then someone on Main Street, the same thing.
this is Maine and
Yeah,
Franklin.
just get those going both directions. They're just. They are. Now, we are referring up with the cleaners is, I have seen them. Yes, it does.
Okay, great, thank you.
And you know, at night, we could possibly dismantle our hospital, because at night it's still gonna be a problem. Maybe you could have a flashing light there, something that has a constant weight. Because it's right there.
We do have, but I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very, very productive discussion tonight. Thank you. Now our city clerk's report. I recognize, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. First request, for approval of the first and second January 2024 claims documents.
So,
Second. Motion, we're taking, care of both items in one motion, first and second. All right?
Well, no, just the regular claims docket. We had a first and second of
Yes.
those because we had the one from last week.
We did, right.
So we're looking at 111, the date 111.
We have one for 111 and then one for 119.
We're looking at both of them.
Yes. And the mini doc will be a separate.
Right. All right, who made that motion? Alderwoman Hall has made the motion, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion.
Yes, sir. I did have a
Yes,
few questions.
Alderwoman Irving.
We're gonna begin on page 16, and this probably in its form, and I just was looking, novelty lights. It says 60 warm light, white icicle lights. Novelty lights, and there's probably a question from Mr. Dollar. But he's gonna keep-
That's gonna be Christmas decoration.
Where, for what location? There was
That, we couldn't tell you exactly.
Over.
Memorial Park had lots of lights that had to be replaced. City Hall had some that had to be replaced.
Lights in the tree.
Okay, all right. Then the next question is on page 18. So one of the things we probably want to do is share with Mr. Ross, to get his, what's with that?
We've already handled that situation. There was, POs were not done and those invoices were not submitted to the clerk's office for payment.
So we've taken care of that, and he is caught up, and we are good moving forward.
Okay. Let's- on page 44. Incentive for Mississippi Golf Management. Can you explain that?
That's part of the contract for the management at the golf course. We do that every year. There's an additional payment, based on income, generated.
For that particular department?
Mhm. Yes, and that is in the contract. That's a contractual payment that is made in January of every year.
Okay. I've just never seen that amount before, so that means more revenue coming into that department.
And that is actually kind of in line with past years.
And expenses coming in under budget. He has been saving money and really being more and more profitable.
Okay. I know we've had more tournaments and all of that. All right. Okay, that ends with that one, and then I have one on. It's still out of that same department. That ends my question.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Any questions been called?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
What is that, contract, amount consist of?
I'm sorry, what now?
The contract for,
What is that contract that is $10,000,
That,
$10,000 incentive clause? What is the total of that contract that we signed for 8-year contract?
without that contract in front of me, I can't answer that.
We'll be happy though to pull a copy of the contract for you, Alderman Frazier.
Yes, but I need to get a copy of that.
Certainly.
That kind of money, we get a contract, you pay us $10,000, that's a lot of money. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If you would, Madam Clerk, have a
Yep.
copy of that contract pulled and made available for Alderman Frazier.
Tell
We'll
me
have-
my box is there.
And put in your box.
Yeah, put my mailbox.
We certainly will. Any further discussion? The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, next item.
Request for approval of the January 2024 mini claims docket.
Pleasure of the board. Alderman Davis has made the motion, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion?
yes, sir.
Yes, Alderwoman Irving.
Okay, I'm looking at, claim number 22007. That individual I thought was with, Keep America Beautiful, but here it says interior design for City Hall.
Yes, we, this is a professional, she is an interior decorator that we actually brought in on an hourly basis just back in the fall to perform some services and to work with our city clerk. And if you have been in City Hall lately, you'll notice a great transformation is taking place. And that constitutes her invoice.
Okay, so my question is, what budget is this coming from? Because we hired her to be Keep America.
Well, that's
What
a separate item. No, this comes just from our public properties budget. And if you were to go into City Hall and look, you'll see that
I've
all of
been in
the
City Hall here, and I'm just asking, which budget is it gonna come from? Because,
public properties. Am I correct?
Yes, for City Hall.
For City Hall? Yes.
okay,
And those services are concluded.
okay, and then, claims number, 22083, Dances Festival of Music Concert Sponsorship. And my reason for asking, because
That
In
actually should say advertisement.
Correct. It was an
And
advertisement.
at every year, and I'm correcting mine right now, every year, we, help with this is a city event celebrating the life of Dr. King. And this is the event that was held last Sunday at 5 p.m. at People Baptist Church.
I understand. I'm just asking because we increased, now this is the same organization, we increased their
This is a separate event.
appropriation.
This is a separate one-time advertisement for that event, to make that event possible for our city. And it was a spectacular event with a fantastic crowd. And we also honored the founders of NAPAC. And Tony Fields sang amazingly, How Great Thou Art. And we also had a celebrated tenor who was from Jackson, Mississippi, who performed a series of anthems. And John Christopher Adams. And so that is their same concert we had last year. We did that.
Okay, and Mr. Mayor, one other, claims number 22001.
Mhm.
And where is that infield mix delivery?
That was, the special clay that had to be brought in to finish the baseball fields at Duncan Park.
At Duncan Park? Okay.
And that had to be, gotten from Tennessee, it's a certain mix and it could not be gotten closer. They found a vendor out of Tennessee.
One other question, I see we got another contractor, we used 3 different contractors to do the same thing in the park, so we used Mr., who's our contract with, I can't think of his name at this present time.
Mr. David Jenkins
Mr.
has a
Jenkins.
contract.
And then I see.
Mr. Jeffrey Ross has a contract.
Okay.
For various areas of the city, including medians and right-of-ways. And we also have some other contracts.
I see Vine's Tree Service.
And we have various contractors that we reach out to. Mr. Paul Williams, who now takes care of not only Auburn, but the Crown Texas Fan Monument. If you'd like a breakdown of those, we can give them to you, but we don't have time to go through all of those contractors.
I'm not asking that, Mayor, I'm just asking because when we are paying, this is taxpayer dollars paying for these services, that should be questioned.
Yeah.
I got a question.
And I want to just remind you that City Clerk's office is there, invoices are there for your inspection.
I don't need
At
to see
any
an invoice, I just need a
time,
question.
we had a lot of trees that had to be cut. We got an amazing rate there at Duncan Park, and that's what that $2,100 expense is.
And that's why I'm hoping to, Mayor, that at Jackway, we can get that same price.
Certainly,
Price to remove that tree.
I've got a note to look into that. We've
Thank
been
you.
working at all of our parks, and I don't know if you noticed, but just over the last week, we have re-landscaped the Proud Texas Sand Monument, and we have also installed an irrigation system.
I have.
And at no cost to the taxpayers, as a donation, Natchez Waterworks installed a new water line going from the city auditorium to the Proud Texas Sand Monument.
That's
to
good
make
news.
that possible.
That way we provide
So
some
if
manpower.
you just really look at the projects, we're doing things everywhere, and we're so excited about it. Any further discussion? Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item, Madam
The
Clerk.
next item I'm actually going to hold until the next meeting. I just looked down at the report that was provided and some formulas are a little out of whack, and I don't have those announced. So we'll move on to bullet. The next bullet is the request for approval of interfund transfers.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Davis. Seconded by Alderman Maroney. Discussion? Call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is a request for approval of payroll transfers.
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderwoman Hall. Discussion? Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item.
Okay, request for approval of the December 2023 personnel review.
Second.
The motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion? Call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Okay, next item is request to advertise for the city's depository bids. And I did send that out with the packet for the meeting last week, so the dates will be altered, because of that. But we are looking at publishing February 2nd, receiving February 19th.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made by Alderman Hall, seconded by Alderman Irving. Any discussion? We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you so much.
And actually, I have one more.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Porter could not be here tonight. He asked me to make these requests on his behalf. So the first request is to approve a reimbursement to Recreation Director Ryan Porter for the purchase of the Jersey Watch software. That reimbursement is in the amount of $348. This is a platform that works in conjunction with the Natchez Youth Sports website that allows parents, people to register for different sports and pay the registration fees and so forth.
You know, a simple reimbursement really doesn't require more.
He asked
Okay.
that I bring that.
All right, Alderwoman Hall has made a motion, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion, we'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Okay, and the second part of this is my request, request for approval to link the Jersey Watch software to the city's recreation bank account so that when those payments are made, we get the money.
Second.
This is for registrations for
Registration fees for
our
youth sports.
baseball, and for youth sports in general. Okay, great. Motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Alderwoman Smith made the motion, Alderwoman Hall seconded the motion. We'll have discussion. We'll call for the question. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, do you have a report?
Very briefly, I do. Mr. Mayor and Board of Aldermen, I've only been on the job 23 days, but I've discovered, as Brian Calloway told me, it's a full-time job. We're working on the contract with Diane Lusher, as Williams talked about earlier. We have it in rough form, ready to finalize that. The committee met, as you know, on the RFP for garbage disposal, and I'm working on the public notice for the paper. But we have that almost in final form. We're also working on the same for the depot. Mr. Johnston gave me the RFP today, but it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I haven't had time to get fully acquainted with that. We should be able to have that before the week is out. I'm also working on the resolution with the county that Mr. Fire Chief Harrington spoke about with Scott Slover. We're working together to buy the new fire truck, and we're on one accord. Everything's going great. I'm working on dedication of the streets and thoroughfares and curbing in Ashburn Woods. We're very close, city taking over on that. And I got to talk to Brian because I need a new nameplate.
You do?
Yeah.
You do?
And that's
That is an oversight. I apologize.
it's
All
okay.
right. Also, I want to just say, Mr. Lazarus, you actually left off quite a number of things. You are doing so much, and we really appreciate that. And that's a good segue into my report. We have a simple matter of approving the contract for the attorney is unchanged from the contract of the prior attorney.
That's correct.
And it was in your package, and it's a very simple two-page attorney, drawn contract, very basic. And I'll ask for that motion. Alderwoman Hall has made the motion, seconded by Alderwoman Smith. Discussion. We'll call. Yes, Alderman Frazier.
I have a question for the city attorney.
Yes.
That Ashburn Woods, is that the subdivision off of Winchester Road?
Yes.
I need to ask a question. Is that when you talk about the curb and drainage, right?
I couldn't hear it.
It's curb and drainage.
Yes. Now, Mr.
Correct
Wilson.
me if I'm wrong. if that subdivision is privately owned. Hello?
Is it privately owned?
Yes.
Alderman Frazier is privately owned at this time, but there was an understanding that once they got curb and gutter in place, it would then be transferred to the city and an agreement established for the installation of streetlights. And that is, I think, where we are in the process right now.
Okay, so what you're telling me, that we're gonna go for curbs and drainage and it's privately owned?
No, the curbs and drains have been done. The city can't take it until, we were not able to take it until the curb and drainage done, following the ordinance dealing with new subdivisions.
That's been finished.
And so the curbs and drainage and all of the curbs and gutter, street, all of that's complete.
I'm kind of like a little concerned about the city taking over private property and doing work on it. I'd like a little more insight.
Certainly. Well, he was just giving an update. This would have to come before the board for approval in a later meeting.
That's
And
correct.
once everything is worked out, I would encourage actually that you just visit with Mr. Lazarus and ask your questions and see if those questions can be resolved.
Yes, because like I said, I don't want to get bogged down in something, and everybody else when they don't, so they want to be quick, something that's private down.
I understand. Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a very strict way that subdivisions are handled under our ordinance and also under state law, and all of that has to be followed. And and Alderman Frazier raises a good point.
Yes.
We're back to the discussion. Anyone else who would have any discussion on the approval of the contract with the city attorney? Question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it, motion carries. Well, thank you. You know, you've already been official, but now we can pay you, so that's good. Thank you, Mr. Attorney. My report is very brief. We've already taken care of the contract with the city attorney. We did have a meeting with the state aid engineer today, Harry Lee James, along with the engineer Brian Johnson for Stantek Corporation, to discuss the Canal Street Bridge. I want to say that I am a little disappointed that here in our going into our fourth week in dealing with this, that we actually don't have a scope of work or estimate yet. And so we asked when we would get that. We're supposed to hear more tomorrow. I hope that we would have something to present to you today, but we don't have it. We did make that request in writing after a special call meeting December 28th. That's all been documented. And I would have hoped we would have it by now. So as soon as we get it, we will let you know. And I reminded the engineers that time was of essence because mid-March, we're back into full gear spring tourism, and we really don't need to have that weight limit for an extended period of time on that Canal Street Bridge. So just letting everyone know where we are there. Also, I don't have the grant discussion ready regarding med natches. We are researching grants that will allow us to more formally organize our med natches strategy and actually do all the things that need to be done in attracting medical talent to Natchez, in creating recruitment bonuses and other things, and even having a committee overseeing this and individuals involved. It's a very important issue that we have known we need and have been working on for some time. We do have a marketing campaign about ready to start, but we understand now, we're researching that there are grants that could really help us here. So by the next meeting, we hope to have more information on a grant that we want to apply for there. Miscellaneous updates, I'll just tell you briefly, we actually did have a discussion on Silver Street today. Our attorney was in the meeting, and we don't have the final documents signed by the owners of the land under the hill, but we are moving in that direction, hoping for an update tomorrow. So I just want everyone to know we are working on it. I have something that I do need your approval on. Every year, we have a cleanup during January, around the time of Dr. King's birthday. We started this the first year of our administration, and it is a cleanup of curbs and gutter along Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Street from the beginning to the end. This year, our Public Works put out for bid. The bids were received. We received two. The lowest bid being Live Oak Landscape for $8,500, saying they will start next week and be finished within 30 days. They anticipate, depending on weather, that actually in less than 2 weeks. We received a higher bid from Unlimited Resources. Those are the only two bids that were received by the deadline date. And so I would like to entertain a motion that we engage Live Oak Landscapes. The low bidder, they actually performed this project last year, and they're ready to do it again.
So moved, but I do have a question.
Yes, Alderman Irving has made the motion, seconded by Alderman Davis, and now discussion.
I
Yes.
just, what was Unlimited Resources dollar?
It's sad that they're so close together. $8,750, only $250 apart.
Okay,
But Live Oak still being the low bidder.
I understand.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Frazier?
I have issues with that. I had it last year.
Yes.
I still, and I'm gonna state my opinion, I'll state it again. I have issues with awarding a bid or anything, a contract with someone who sues the city principal. So that's my, and I vote nay.
Okay, we'll let the minutes reflect that. Thank you, Alderman Frazier. The motion's been made. Any further discussion? The question's been called. We'll proceed to a vote. Alderwoman Hall?
Aye.
Alderman Frazier?
Nay.
Alderwoman Smith?
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving?
Nay.
Alderman Davis?
Aye.
Alderman Maroney?
Aye.
The ayes have it, motion carries. And I'm very grateful that for the 4th year in a row, we can have this annual cleanup of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Street. Yes.
Since we're already playing,
Yes.
what are your thoughts? Would you mind having your office in a formal request to the county to apply for the hazardous waste grant so that we can get a hazardous waste space set up?
Certainly, we can do this. We'll get that done. We'll get a letter done.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Alderman Frazier.
I'd like for my comments to be entered into the minutes, please.
Certainly. Madam Clerk, if you can make sure those comments that Alderman Frazier expressed are included in the minutes. Okay. The next item I have is more good news. I want to thank the Mississippi Department of Archives and History for again, now, my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a row, awarding a community heritage preservation grant to Natchez. We have been successful in receiving a grant of $142,161 to help us with the phase 1 exterior renovation of the Angeletti House. That will allow us to begin work on the roof, on the gutters, on windows, doors, and we are very excited. We worked very hard behind the scenes, and I've actually been just waiting to share this news. We actually got word Friday evening, but anyway, we're so excited, and I want to ask someone with their phone handy, just to add these numbers for me. 655 plus 95 plus 142. What is that?
892.
892. Those are the grants we've announced tonight. You know, people ask how we're doing so much without raising taxes. It's because we're working so hard to bring in money from other sources. That's $655,000 from the NRCS for an EWP project, a 100% grant, no match. A $95,000 grant for the fire truck. Actually, it may end up being more like 90,000. So we may have to take 5 off. And then 142,000 for the Angeletti house. We are just so grateful. And if you look back at the last 5 years, this city has been treated very well. And we're just so grateful for Archives and History. Just last week, they announced actually a $1 million grant for Jefferson College through the National Endowment for the Humanities. And so, you know, that's just last week. And then Beulah Baptist received a $150,000 grant. That was announced on the day of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday on January 15th, just after we had been at Beulah Baptist Church on 14th. So these are great things for Natchez, and we're just very grateful. So just had to share. I told you a lot of excitement, a lot of good news. Yes.
I just want to say thank you. The Angeletti House, that has really been a jewel in the city of Natchez, and I'm just grateful to hear that good news. That's been a concern for a lot of members of the community, and truly something that we have been trying to retrieve over and over again. But God's good. That's all I can say.
Now that's we'll put city funds with that. Now that's a phase 1. There will be other work to be done. We'll continue looking for funds for that.
And Mr. Mayor, I also want to make you aware of this too.
Yes,
it's pertaining to the grant that you received. There's another civil rights area church in Ward 4. It's on Design on East Oak Street. That's something we need to look. We have the history. They also met at that particular church too. We have a lot of members of the community that's well aware of it, so that's something to consider.
Certainly. Thank you. Legislative update, enough's been said, but we will remind everyone, we have a legislative breakfast Monday morning at 7:30, and that is being held by the Natchez Chamber of Commerce.
You said that.
Oh, it has been canceled?
No, it hasn't. No, it's not canceled.
No.
But you sent out that.
You sent that.
From your office. That it was canceled?
Yes.
Well,
Please ask it.
it must have been an accident. As far as I know, breakfast is still. Okay. Well, that was obviously an accident, and I apologize for it. But the legislative breakfast, as I understand, is still on for Monday morning at 7:30, and we are having a lot of visits with legislators, and I will actually be in Jackson tomorrow having some meetings with legislators. So, great things. Also, I want to remind, and we're going to end on this note, we have a very historic event happening on Thursday evening at 5:30 p.m., and that is the signing of the deed at Zion Chapel. It will be held inside the church, the deed to MLK Triangle. And they, as you know, we approved this at a meeting recently, and we will be signing those documents at 5:30 p.m., where the church is deeding to the city ownership of the MLK Triangle, except for the Triangle building and Don's Barbershop. I want everyone to know that Don's Barbershop is still open for business, and we're so proud of Mr. Don Gordon and what he does there. But the stipulation is the city can never sell it. The city will develop Hiram Revels Plaza, the park dedicated in memory of former U.S. Senator Hiram Revels, the first African-American gentleman to ever serve in Congress. And we are excited about this. We invite everyone to come to that event at 5:30 p.m. This Thursday at Zion Chapel. Well, with that said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Alderman Davis, seconded by Alderman Maroney. Any discussion?
No.
We'll call for the question. All in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed to the motion have a good night. The motion passes and we adjourn and the meeting lasts 1 hour.